Sanbonani, let us make coconut scones. The full recipe will be posted on the caption. So uzothatha flour, baking powder, ushukela, no coconut. You're going to mix it in this whole entire bowl. It's very important to usifte your flour and your baking powder. This is to remove any impurities that may be found in the product that you are using. Flour, it's very important that you sift it. Another reason why you need to sift your dry ingredients is to remove any form of lumps. Things like flour and cocoa, especially cocoa, kuba nama lumps amaningi kakhulu. It's important for you to sift those lumps so that your cakes are not dense in the end of the day. If you do not sift your things, your cakes are likely to be dense by 20 to 25%. Yes, and then sizothatha butter. Make sure that your butter is frozen so that you can get a proper texture for your scones. Your frozen butter gives different yields, or rather it gives a different results compared to melted butter, and it also gives you scones a nice texture and a nice shape. So uzothatha butter yakho le efrozen, grate, and then you're just gonna rub it in the palm of your hands until it resembles crumbs. You cannot skip this step. Butter is very essential kuma scones, so you need to ensure ukuthi inhlama yakho looks something like this. Remember, the less butter that you have kuma scones, it gives you a denser texture. Ama-cake wakho azoqina bese kube ngathi amagabade, and we don't want amagabade, we want ama-scones, hayi amatshe. So you need to ensure ukuthi ubutter uyawenza kahle resemble ama-crumbs. And then we're going to mix our wet ingredients on a separate bowl. Do ensure that amaswako ayabanda, ibisi lakho liyabanda. Make sure that everything is cold. Different temperatures will result to your recipe failing. So do ensure that everything is cold. Your eggs, your butter, your milk, and your butter, your margarine rather. I used margarine lana because wooden spoon is margarine, and then things like real butter, it gives you a different taste compared to margarine. So there is a difference between margarine and butter, but we will tackle all of those things later on in other videos. Uzohlanganisa ama-wet ingredients yakho. Ensure that you do mix your wet ingredients properly. Also, you saw me use a different container to ukuthi ngivule amaqanda wami, or rather ukuthi ngibreake amaqanda wami. The reason why I broke my eggs in a different container, it's because I'm preventing ukuthi should it happen that I get a bad egg, kungabi ukuthi ngilahla in mixture yami yonke. So it's important ukuthi mawusebenzisa amaqanda, when you crack your egg, you crack it in a different container to ensure ukuthi mixture yakho does not go back should it happen that you get a bad egg. So you are going to mix inhlama yakho with a spoon. Ungaxovi inhlama. Mawuyixova inhlama, you are going to get dense scones. You are going to get a texture isinkwa. You cannot also uxove inhlama yama scones. Remember, we're making scones here, not isinkwa. So you just need to mix until everything is combined. So now uyaxova uzoba namagabade, and it's gonna cause gluten and all of that. Sixova isinkwa, not ama scones. So you just need to mix them until everything is combined. And then you're going to take 1 cup of flour and sift it once again, because remember, we are going to it is important for you to sift that flour again to remove impurities. And then you're going to take ikhatha yakho isebenzisayo uyifake ku flour. This is to ensure that scones wakho mawakhatha angasticky to the cutter. And then you're going to take a rolling pin or whatever you use to roll, but you need to invest in a rolling pin. It is not safe for you to use a bottle because that bottle may break. So you're going to do that. Roll your dough. This is how thick I rolled my dough, because you must remember, the thicker you roll your dough, the bigger your scones are going to rise. Remember that scones rise almost to triple the size of what you rolled. You're going to also ensure that ipan lako, it's either you use a cooking spray or you use the method that I showed earlier on in the video, which is to rub butter and dust flour. Ensure that the flour you're using once again is sifted. Also, we're going to do egg wash. Egg wash is just 1 egg with roughly 15 milliliters of milk. This is to ensure ukuthi ama-scones wakho aphuma nice and fresh. They give a nice uniform look. They don't egg wash ama-scones wakho, you're just gonna get flour on top. It's not gonna look nice at all. When you egg wash your scones, please do ensure that you only egg wash the top and not the sides. If you egg wash the sides, your scones won't rise, because egg wash, it acts like a semi-glue for it acts like a semi-glue. So you need to ensure that you do not egg wash the sides. Please do ensure that your oven is preheated. I forgot to mention that in the beginning. You have to preheat your oven to 185 degrees. Now this will depend on istove sakho. Please do use 160 degrees. But with the stove that I was using here, I had to preheat to 190, 195 degrees so that ama-scones wam arise kahle. Remember, ama-scones adinga a higher temperature in order for them to rise properly. If you don't give it a nice high temperature, your scones are just going to spread and they're gonna look like biscuits and not scones. So the temperature that we'll use will affect the whole entire product on how your scones come out. And then, as you saw, that I use melted butter to rub on my scones, or rather to wash my scones. That step is not compulsory at all. You can skip that step. Yes, and this is our recipe. Enjoy.